Yoga teachers, are you struggling to teach standing split in your all levels classes? In this video, I'll be sharing with you different pose progressions and a few examples of how I might cue standing split in an all levels yoga class. If you haven't already, hit that subscription button and the bell to be notified every single time I share a new video giving yoga teaching tips. I like to think of yoga poses on a spectrum, and I like to ask myself these two very important questions. How can I make the yoga pose more accessible? And how can I make the yoga pose more challenging? So in my yoga teacher toolkit for the pose, I like to have a lot of different options of how I could teach this pose. So if I know I want to teach this pose in my class, maybe as my peak pose, depending on who's in class will depend on what variation of the pose I'll teach. So I'll show some pose progressions, and then I'll show some ways to use props for standing splits, and then I'll give a few examples of how I might cue it depending on who's in class. Here's an example of how I might cue standing split in an all levels class using blocks. Let's start in a runner's lunge with the blocks on the low height. Inhale, begin to shift your weight forward to your right foot. Exhale, lift your left leg into the air, plant your palms on the blocks, squeeze that left glute and lift that left leg as high as you can. Option to stay here just like this, or if you want more of a balance challenge, take your left hand to your calf. You can stay here, or if you want even more of a balance challenge, take that right hand to your calf. Find your variation of the shape. Here's an example of how I might cue this pose in an all levels class if I didn't have any props. Again, starting in a runner's lunge, I have my right leg forward, my left leg back. Inhale, plant your hands down. Exhale, shift your weight forward to your right foot. Lift your left leg all the way into the air. Draw your chest towards your right leg. Crown of the head goes down. Option to stay right here just like this. Or your right hand can come to the calf. You can stay here, or if you want to challenge your balance even more, you can take your left hand to your calf. And if you fall out of it, don't worry, just come into it. It's part of the yoga fun. Find your variation of the shape. Yoga teachers, let me know, was this helpful? Will you teach any of these progressions in your next yoga class?